Yo, yo, yo. What's up, everybody? Good morning. Good morning. Happy flipping Thursday, man. Another beautiful day, man. Actually, looks like it might be stormy for me, which is fantastic, dude. I love storms. So, might be a nice little overcast, rainy, thunderstormy kind of day for us here. And I love that. So, let's go. It's good to be back, dude. Yesterday was our normal day off. So, yeah, feels good to be back, man. We got the rest of the Remnant 2 playthrough is up on well, the playthrough was already up on YouTube, but all the rest of the highlights and clips and all that stuff are up on YouTube now. And now we also have all of the Disco Elysium episodes up on YouTube. All the clips and highlights aren't there yet, but the episodes are public, baby, in a playlist up on YouTube now. So that's good stuff. Hope everybody's doing well. We got video gaming news for today, August 17th, and then we'll play some more Fallout New Vegas. Let's do it. Let's get in here. Let's do this. Go ahead and kill the tunes, man. Let's do what we do. Get that death counter off of there. Pay no attention to that death counter. Let's go. What's up, Davey? How you doing, buddy? What's up, man? What it do, bro? What are you doing, brother? Let's see what we got. Meow. Do do do. Okay. Apparently, Starfield has a quest inspired by Donnie Brasco. That's funny. Good movie, by the way, based on a true story. If you've never heard it, this movie stars Johnny Depp and Al Pacino. It's a very good movie. There are other actors in it too. It's just been a long time since I've seen it, so I couldn't name them all off. But they are the two primary actors in it. It's a very good movie and based off of a true story as well. Um, Very good movie. You should check it out. Good stuff. Especially if you're into movies about like the mob, stuff like that. Okay, let's go. You know what? We're gonna need to change this. Let's change this. Let's custom range this. This should be going from Tuesday to today. Make sure we're catching everything since we weren't live yesterday. Yeah, let's do that. We already talked about the Netflix stuff. That's good. It's what I've been talking about. The way that I've seen where Netflix needed to go right now, and it looks like that's what they're doing. It makes sense for them. Uh, it looks like Sony has filed a patent for a glove-shaped VR gaming controller. It's the PlayStation Power Glove. um, Here's the thing. Just because they filed a patent doesn't mean anything at all. Patents are filed like literally daily by these companies, and some of them come to fruition, many of them do not. So the patent side of it is like, we've got this potential thing we want to create, and this protects our venture into that product, but quite often it'll be something they just sit on and toy around with, and it won't actually end up becoming something for them to produce for consumers, right? It doesn't mean that it won't also be addressed in some form or fashion in the future, brought back into the fold. That's something they always have the potential to do with these patents. But until we get something official in the front of, hey, we're definitely bringing this glove-shaped VR gaming controller to, you know, the consumer, then there's not a lot to really put stock into for this. Just like every other handheld nowadays. Look, the Switch showed what handhelds could be in modern gaming. And Lenovo, is it going to be any surprise that Lenovo's handheld they're coming out with is, which is supposed to be a competitor to the Steam Deck and the ROG Ally. So it's going to be it's a PC handheld, right? Um, any surprise that it's going to be something very similar to both those devices and something that has is going to be emulating what the Switch has made so popular? Absolutely not. That's just to be expected nowadays. Going to be really hot today. Oh no, bro. No. Stay hydrated, brother. Stay hydrated. It's actually starting to get a little bit brighter now. I just woke up and it was like super dark, dude. I was like, oh man, it might be stormy, but I could be wrong too. Maybe it was just a little bit overcast this morning. Yeah, it looks like we just got some clouds today. A little bit cloudy for us today. But it's not very hot either, dude. It's not very hot for us. It's a pretty mild day. It's gonna be a nice day. Not to rub it in your face. Sorry, dude. Sorry. Yeah, it's gonna be like mid 70s Fahrenheit. Yeah. Nice, dude. There you go. That's what I'm talking about. They say anything about kilts or skirts? You know? Just saying. A little bit better airflow. You know what I'm saying? It's a thought, dude. You know? Not as constricting for bending. You know what I mean? If you got to pick something up, lift with the legs. It's a thought. Kind of bleak right now, dude, on the news front. Jeez. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will have zombies. That'll be a win. People enjoy enjoy the zombie side of like everything, dude. So that'll be something people enjoy. NHL 24 revamped gameplay. All right, we'll see about that. I'll believe it when I see it. EA's EA's hockey games, NHL games have looked the same, have played the same since like early to mid 20 teens. So I don't know. Just like most of their other sports themed games. Hmm. FF16 producer reckons one gaming platform what would be better for everyone. Now, there's also a problem with that. So this is the idyllic, like one platform to rule them all thing, where there is no proprietary system. You know what I mean? That's what they're going to talk about. What they're talking about here is one platform, no longer having this competition between like. And they're probably not talking about PC. They're probably talking about the console world. So they're probably talking about no PlayStation, no Xbox, no Nintendo, just one platform generally to run everything. The problem with that being that I mean we've been able to see, and I'll go into more detail on this when we get into this article, but who would own it? And you know the way the console world has addressed this as opposed to the PC world. PC world is not a singular kind of owner. You don't even have to buy a PC from a manufacturer, right? And a PC, even the PC is not just a gaming device either. Therefore, it doesn't fall into the same category of what consoles do as just being gaming devices, to where they railroad people on all these scummy tactics that they use, you know. And it wouldn't matter if you've got 3 competitors or one consolidated console to run everything. And honestly, probably one console to run everything in the console realm of gaming would probably be worse, because there wouldn't be any competition, and they would the railroading would get even worse for consumers. The scumminess of it would get even worse. But what they're going to talk about is, because there's so many people that are throwing fits about the first party proprietary stuff, and it would do away with that. You wouldn't have to worry about peripherals for um, different consoles, or hardware for different consoles, developing games for different consoles and stuff like that. That's what they're going to talk about. But ultimately, if you take a really hard look at it, it would not be better, dude. It really wouldn't. It'd be scarier, honestly. We'll talk about it. Yeah, it wouldn't. I mean, it's a theoretical kind of thing. It's a scenario based thing they're talking about. Just why they're going to bring up the pros, and that's why it was important for me to start talking about the cons, because ultimately the cons of that situation would outweigh the pros. The reason the pros come up so often in that scenario, though, are because people have been barking and throwing fits about, especially like currently, the proprietary first party game stuff, which has been going on forever. I don't know why all of a sudden it's become such a big deal. People have been throwing fits about, you know, like games like Starfield not coming to PlayStation, or, you know, Final Fantasy 16 not being on Xbox, or, well, I mean, what have you, dude? You know, and it's like, okay, yeah, get it, but it's not like this is a new thing that's happened, you know. And dude, it would never happen either. It would take, because all of the console players are too big now, right? I mean, Nintendo, PlayStation, and Xbox, they're just too big. And it would take either some company coming in and trying to swallow all of them at the same time to consolidate them, which I don't think there's anybody in the world that could really do that. Maybe, but it's hard to put a price on gaming companies like what I mean. What kind of price do you put on a company like Nintendo, dude? I don't know that you really can put it like a real price tag on a company like that. You know what I mean? I mean, if Activision Blizzard's worth like 70 billion, Nintendo's got to be like astronomical, just stupid amounts of money, you know? Um so it would take either something like that or one of the other gaming companies to buy the other two out, or console players to buy the other two out. And it's not really feasible. It just I don't think it could play out. I just don't see it happening. But I think they're just trying to talk about the pros. But anytime you talk about the pros of a situation like that, you got to talk about the cons as well, which is what I'm going to do. You know me, man. Can't have the pros without the cons, right? Oh, I do have a piece of news from we're gonna dive into something that Ferret sent me. Ferret sent me something yesterday, and let me see this. Where is this? I hadn't really heard about this, but there's a little bit there's a little bit of a situation going on, I guess, apparently between Linus Tech Tips and Gamers Nexus, because apparently Linus Tech Tips did some pretty scummy stuff, but I haven't really gotten to read into it too much yet. And we'll take a look at that as well. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, that's. I mean, for sure, that's going to be an estimation. That's going to be an estimation, and I mean, Nintendo is always growing. I mean, especially with you've seen how well they've done with box office stuff here lately and everything too. Like, I mean, Nintendo's always growing, and I mean that's going to be somebody's estimation of what they're worth. That's always going to be different than what they would agree to sell for. You know what I mean? So some company or some individual's estimation of what a company would be worth is going to be something totally different than what that company themselves would agree to as I guess basically to what they see themselves being worth as well. You know what I mean? And that could be on the low or the high side, either one, right? I mean, like, because if a company's doing bad, they're always going to want to, if they're trying to sell, they're always going to try to get the most they can, right? But a company's always going to try to get the best they can in return for what they're selling off. But it's going to be harder for a company like maybe, let's say, Ubisoft, who's been struggling, right? When a company comes in and is like, hey, we can help you. We can just buy you out, you know, and they'll start getting lowballed. Whereas Nintendo would be in the position where companies would come in and be like, oh, well, we've got this estimation at 95 billion. And Nintendo would go, well, the way we see it is we've got this and this and this and this and this, which is really going to put our estimation, our estimated worth at 115 billion because um, we've already seen profits on these fronts that we've already done ventures into these segments, and like the box office stuff has been very good, and we're continuing. We've already bought up a studio that's helping us make these movies, and it's almost total profit for us, and it's like, so it's easy for them to negotiate on that front and say that they're actually worth more because they're doing very well, right? So I would say 95. I mean, but god dang, dude, $95 billion? That's a lot. It's a lot of money, dude. That's what I mean. It's really just an unfathomable amount of money for most people. It's just so stupid. It's just a stupidly ridiculous amount of money. I figured it would probably be somewhere well over $100 billion, but yeah, I don't know. It's crazy, dude. That's why I'm saying though, is like, I don't know. I mean, to be fair, Microsoft just spent 70 billion on Activision Blizzard. Not that far off, I guess. I mean, that's still 25 billion billion dollars. It's a lot, dude. Away from Nintendo's estimated worth. Nintendo would never sell either, though. Let's be fair. Nintendo, I don't ever see Nintendo selling unless they got themselves into a really, really bad predicament where they were just tanking. They would have to be totally tanking to consider selling off entirely. It would take something catastrophic, dude. They're just too valuable long term. Oh yeah, dude. This is what I was talking about. So this is what Ferret hit me up with yesterday, and we're gonna see what crap's going on here. It does have to do with gaming. Apparently, there was so these are sites and people that deal with testing and providing tips on gaming hardware and stuff like that. And I think that's what this kind of comes down to is Linus was apparently, I haven't really gotten to read anything. I am not very educated on this situation yet. What I understand from Ferret was that apparently Linus was supposed to be testing some aftermarket GPU cooler, tested it incorrectly, gave it a bad review, and then was supposed to be sending it back to the manufacturer. That was always the agreement, apparently, and instead they auctioned it off for charity. And when they got called out for all of this, all fronts of how poorly they handled this situation by Gamers Nexus, apparently Linus Tech Tips didn't handle it very well either. And we'll dive into it. We'll take a look. So we'll see what's going on. Most people know who these outlets are, these people are, New Xbox Game Pass titles for console, PC, and cloud. Probably for the last half of the month. We've talked about all this stuff. I'm not going to pull it up. What's funny is that, like, I can't wait to talk about this because Naoki Yoshida, the producer, behind Final Fantasy 16 is also the one that was quoted before the game released, saying, "Don't worry about what other platforms it's going to release on. Just go buy a PlayStation 5." Is basically what they were quoted as saying. It's like, and to that I responded, "Just go buy everybody a PlayStation 5, buddy." Okay, like if it's, I mean, obviously you've got enough money that it's a very nominal thing for you to just flip open your wallet and dish out enough money for a PS5 console, then just do it for everybody that needs one to play your game, you know? One second. We'll dive into that though. Okay. All right, we're good. Baldur's Gate 3 PS5 preload and early access details. There we go. That is coming pretty soon, along with Starfield. Same release date, September 6th. Xbox introduces new strike system to combat toxic players. PS Plus free games for September appear online. I think we've already kind of got this up. That was just Xbox's stuff, huh? Yeah, let's grab that. Let's grab that. Yeah, apparently Texas Chainsaw Massacre is looking really good right now for all you horror fans. Um, we might actually take a dive into it during Scaretober. We'll see. We've already taken a look at it though. I'm not going to dive into it. Ooh, Madden 24 reviews by fans aren't pretty. Could it be because EA doesn't really give a crap about the way the game performs? We're actually evolving these sports games at all? It is EA, after all. Let's take a look. All right, let's dive into these articles for the day. How about it? All right. Kick it off with one of my least favorite developers and publishers, EA. Electronic Arts. Madden 24 reviews by fans are not pretty. Madden 24 reviews on social media are promising for the game. Ahead of its official release Friday, EA Sports gave fans of the NFL video game early access if they pre-ordered the deluxe version of the video game or claimed a subscription to EA Play. The famous football video game has its last release this year before it competes with NCAA football franchise next summer. Many NFL fans have been split on the Madden franchise in recent years. As video game technology has increased to the PS5 and Xbox Series S, Madden has failed to evolve to some people's liking. Look, man, I'll just stop right there until, I mean, most of what I have seen as somebody who basically, I mean, look, I haven't played EA Sports games since like the mid 20 teens because they just quit giving a crap really about evolving the gameplay. It was always more of all they really cared about is the ultimate team crap, make people pay full price for a game, then make them pay more inside of a game for like the loot boxing mechanic stuff. You know what I mean? But no real vision or aim at all for trying to improve gameplay or anything. It's like basically rip the old year off the cover of the game and put the new year on there. Take out the players that aren't going to be in the game anymore, aren't playing in the league anymore, and put the new players in. Call it good, And again, I can't. And it's not that like I was even noticing this back in the mid 20 teens. That's why I quit playing them. NHL games, Madden games, you name it. I quit buying into it because I could tell it was just it was going south. There wasn't a real dedication towards improving gameplay, mechanics, the evolving the game as technology evolves or anything like that. It is just push out the same thing, slap a new year on it, And that's not for me, man. It's not the kind of developer I care to support. So, and even the stuff that I've seen, I mean, I've watched some gameplay and stuff of these games as the years have gone on, and it looks the exact same. I mean, all the mechanics, all the gameplay and everything looks the same. So I don't know. I know there are a lot of people that still love these games and everything, but I just don't see it. The game can often be glitchy. Users have uploaded funny videos of nasty glitches in the game to social media. Madden is the best we've got to play football online. Still a lot of fun for many video game users. Madden 23 has sold upwards of 156,000 copies since its release last August. NFL news, Madden 24 reviews from NFL fans on X. On X-Twitter. Yo, Farrah, what's up, bro? What's going on, dude? NFL fans reviewed Madden 24 after the early access version was dropped this week. Many users like the new game. Some users posted frustration glitches with the latest version. Fortunately, EA Sports still has a few days to patch issues before the official launch. Here are the best takes on social media of fans' honest Madden 24 reviews. With a straight face that's not happening in real life. Making Madden 24 is. I guess I celebrated too hard. It's not showing the pics and stuff. There's just going to be a lot of glitches and bugs and stuff. I'm not surprised. EA's terrible, basically. It's just such a bad company, dude. Such a bad company, man. I'll continue to criticize this company every great once in a while, dude. They will have a decent game drop under their umbrella, but it's because their umbrella is so big, and it's inevitable. They'll have a decent one here and there, and most of the time, subpar games to big hot piles of garbage. It's unfortunate that EA has this stranglehold, if you will, on some of these genres in gaming, like NFL games. A lot of the sports titles actually, and it's just unfortunate that if people want to play these games, they have nowhere else to go. So if they want to play a sports title, quite often they have to pay EA for it. Feels really bad. It really does. New Xbox Game Pass titles for console, PC, and cloud have been dated. Sea of Stars, Davey. The Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Grizz, and Firewatch. Microsoft has announced the next wave of titles coming to Xbox Game Pass for console, PC, and Xbox Cloud gaming. Everspace 2 joins yesterday, the 15th of August. There we go. So 2 days ago. I had a Firewatch on today, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre tomorrow. Be followed by Sea of Stars on the 29th and Grizz on September 5th. Titles which joined the service earlier this month include Celeste, A Short Hike, Broforce Forever, Limbo, Airborne Kingdom, and Quake 2. These are the following titles that will be leaving Game Pass on August 31st, guys. Black Desert Commandos 3 HD Remastered, Immortality, Nuclear Throne, Surgeon Simulator, and Tinykin. All right. Xbox introduces, what does that say? New, I love this. I love what's happening here. It's great. Jesus Christ. Here, hold on. New strike system to combat toxic players. There we go. Okay, cool. Xbox has announced a stronger stance against online bullying and harassment in multiplayer games with a new strike system to put in place to discourage toxicity. The enforcement strike system is cumulative and aims to punish players who receive multiple strikes for bad behavior. When players see a violation on Xbox's community standards, bullying, harassment, or abuse, they're encouraged to make a formal report. These are reviewed by Xbox community managers, and strikes are delivered based on the severity of the incident. Per Xbox, penalties are now harsher for players that are repeat offenders. I think this is great. You guys know how I stand on this topic, right? Like, my stance on this is there's nothing wrong with competitive banter. Most people can't handle competitive banter, though, and they end up getting offended very easily, and then they cross over into the line of unacceptable behavior because they get offended or whatever by some mediocre competitive banter or whatever. So they'll go into the realm of, spewing hate speech or discriminatory, racial terms or very spew out like self-harm talk, or you name it. We've all heard it. If you've been playing games for any time at all and you've been in any online game, I'm sure you've heard it or seen it, depending on whether it's been VoIP or text-based communication, and I think that this is the way to handle it. There are other games that do a pretty good job of it too. There are many that don't, though, and I think that's the thing. And I do think it's appropriate to give people need to be able to report for the things that shouldn't be part of the community. People that are spewing toxicity, unacceptable toxicity, need to be dealt with and done away with, in my opinion. Some competitive banter, dude, is not a big deal. As long as you're not, crossing that line. So I think that's where it comes into play of having moderators to be able to check what is being reported and see what exactly went down, and to be able to take the appropriate actions if necessary, right? Right. Yeah, fair. But that's what this is talking about, is that they're reviewed by community managers, strikes delivered based on the severity of the incident, right? So that's where it's apparently false reporting isn't necessarily going to play a huge part here. So this is the difference between a reporting system where people just automatically get throttled or like temp bans before review processes happen, right? That's the difference. We've seen it happen many a times, right? And that is not the best way to go about things, because while yes, it takes care of a chunk of those toxic players in the first place, it also allows players to false report and do exactly what you're referencing right now. But apparently that's not the way this is going to work, right? Based on what we just read. Does it mean that there won't be some, people that get banned that shouldn't have been. It's inevitable. There are going to be people that need to put in some requests to have their their accounts readdressed, and they get banned, and they go, wait, what for, or whatever, and it was just a misunderstanding, or wrong click of a button by a moderator or something. Who knows? You know what I mean? But this does sound like a process that's put into place for a review by moderators to be able to ensure that there's a formal review process before people get legitimately banned out of these games and stuff, right? And there's probably different tiers of, this needs to be looked at right away. This is like mid-level, low level, or whatever, just based on the kinds of reports that get put in and stuff like that, right? So I've seen a lot of other games that do it that way, and I know there are some out there that do it very well, and I actually get there. There's some games I've played where the team, the dev, will actually come back to you later on and be like, "Thank you for helping to report this individual reported by you was also reported by other people as well, and they have now had punishment imposed upon their account." It's nothing that they don't tell you specifics or anything like that, but they do reach out and let you know that, like, your reporting process played a part in doing away with somebody that was harming the community, right? Which is what you want to see. Strikes are recorded on a player's profile for 6 months. Get 2 strikes within that period, you'll be suspended from Xbox Live services for 1 day. A player with 4 strikes in the same period will be suspended for 7 days. Should a player receive 8 strikes within a 6-month period, they will be suspended from Xbox social features, parties and party chat, multiplayer, and other services for 1 year. Details of the offending incidents will be viewable under a new private enforcement history tab found on personal profiles. This will record the strike tally and any active suspensions earned alongside details of the incident. The renewed enforcement system kicks into gear from today. This was when? Yesterday. So this started yesterday. The renewed enforcement system kicks into gear yesterday with all players getting blank slates and 0 strike status. Clean slate, baby. Any reported incidents resulting in a strike will subsequently be recorded on player profiles. Beyond this system, Xbox has also retained the right to permanently ban players for the most serious violations. Absolutely. That's what I was looking for. That is absolutely the way this should go, including illegal activity. Xbox has pledged to remain transparent about this reporting process, with biannual reports set to reveal more about enforcement standards and how the new system is implementing actual change within the Xbox gaming community. Good. Oh yeah, dude. Yeah. So, yeah. And I mean, I actually, I'm a big advocate for that. Anytime I come across this kind of article, and I'll say, big shout out to Xbox. I think this is a great thing here. I think this is a wonderful thing, actually. So I'm the same way. And again, my stance being, I've got pretty thick skin, dude. I've got pretty thick skin, and I enjoy some competitive banter. I think it's a great part of a little bit of heckling. You know what I mean? I think it's a great part of playing some competitive games with people. I think it gets people amped up, but it's unfortunate that there are some people that can't handle it. I don't usually initiate it either. But if you bring it to me, I'm going to bring it back to you. Like if you're going to dish it out, you better be ready to take it. So that's one of those things that I think some people have a really hard time with. And if they get any kind of heckling or banter back, they take it to another level, an unacceptable level. And that's kind of what I was talking about before. Well, yeah. And I mean, dude, I've talked about that also. I mean, that's that's been the internet forever, right? For the most part, anyways. People just naturally the anonymity they get behind using the internet has granted people the opportunity to do things they wouldn't normally do in life, say things they wouldn't normally say in society or to somebody's face, because they'd probably get a physical beatdown and they're scared or whatever. You know what I mean? Or the repercussions for what society would impart upon it. Loss of job or what. People do just terrible stuff online all the time. But they show their true selves, honestly, too. I mean, it's disgusting. It's really, really gross. But yeah, I mean, gaming's just a part of that. It's just another branch of that anonymity that it gives people. And I love to see gaming taking a stance, developers taking a stance and trying to do better about getting rid of the toxic side of it. I don't care about the competitive banter side of it. Talk about somebody's mom or whatever. Like whatever, dude. I don't care. But if you start, being racist and or sexist or throwing out like, any kind of like discriminatory terms or, showing prejudice against a demographic of people or promoting self-harm, you're crossing a line that shouldn't be crossed. We have enough issues in society that we don't need that kind of crap, and it's not good for the community of whatever game you're playing either. And I think the developers are starting to notice that, and getting rid of people that cross that line is important. I think it's great to see developers do this thing. Yeah. Yeah, dude, a lot of people, and there are certain games that just for some reason they just bring out a lot of toxicity in people, dude. It's really, really weird. I don't know why. I don't know why that is, but it's wild, dude. It's really wild. But yeah. Yeah, almost. Yeah, the no consequences saying. Yeah, that's like that's what I was touching. That's why I addressed the anonymity thing, is because I read that. If you didn't know, yeah, good try and tie. I agree, dude. I agree. Yeah, but I prompt people all the time. To report where you should report. There's this thing called the bystander effect, right? Where people think that uh, somebody else will take care of it, like in a group of people. Somebody else will take care of it. Somebody saw that. Somebody saw that. Somebody else saw that. Somebody will take care of it. Don't think that way. It's not just an online psychological phenomena either. It's just in the world, right? So the bystander effect is just always thinking that somebody else is going to take care of an issue or a reporting issue or whatever. It could be seeing a car crash and going, oh well, there's all kinds of people on the road, and somebody else surely called the police, so I don't need to deal with it. Everybody else thought that way too. Nobody got the emergency services didn't get called because everybody thought the same way. The best thing to do is to report, right? If something is crossing that line of unacceptable behavior, unacceptable speech or communication or whatever, report it. Just report it. It doesn't take very long. Most good reporting incorporations from developers are very, very streamlined and very easy, and it doesn't take very much time at all. So just do it. Get rid of those people out of these games, man. Just get rid of them. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that it's like nobody does it, what I mean? But there is something legitimately, where people think, in this capacity of, well, somebody else will take care of it, but it's like this phenomenon called the bystander effect. You can look into it if you're not familiar with it. It's literally something that happens, and it can be applied to so many different situations where it's groups of people, that see something that should be reported and they don't because they think somebody else is going to do it, right? I actually, dude. Speaking of that, man, we were on a trip not too long back. We were on a trip not too long back, and I'm not one to like just call emergency response for no reason or anything either. But we were on a trip, we were on a highway, and dude, there was this car that was all over the place. All over the place. We were on a 4 lane, 2 lanes each way, right? And there was a car that was all over the place, dude. And I'm talking like both lanes, all over, like about to go into the like was kicking up dirt and stuff off the side of the shoulder and everything, going all the way over the side of the shoulder where they were hitting the off of the pavement and stuff. And I was like, holy crap! I was like, what is going on? So my wife was actually driving. I was like, just stay as far away as you can. And I called emergency service. I called 911, man. It was like, yo, there's something wrong. I was like, I'm at mile marker, da 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 da. I was like, there's a car. I was like, we're not close enough for me to tell you what make or model or license plate it is, but we're following them, man. And that's what I was. Yeah, that's what I figured. I was like, they're probably having some kind of medical emergency or something. Um, Quite possibly. And so, like, I called basically 911 was letting them know. We followed them until we had finally. Not finally. It didn't take him very long. We kept driving and kept following him. And I mean, dude, I can't believe that nobody got hit because, dude, it was busy. There were, I mean, there were cars everywhere. You know what I mean? And I can't believe they didn't end up going all the way off the road or anything either. We saw there was we eventually not too long after I called, we came across a highway patrolman that was in the median. He obviously waiting on that car and that we had reported, and they saw him, dude, and popped over there and got him pulled over and everything. I don't know what happened, but it was a freaky thing. I hadn't really ever seen anything like that, man. I've seen a lot of videos of stuff like that. People either severely inebriated or just having some kind of medical emergency. You know what I mean? But I'd never personally experienced it myself. It was a crazy ordeal, dude. Crazy one. No, for real? Yo, that cow was on an adventure, dude. That cow was on an adventure, man. Baldur's Gate 3 PS5 preload and early access details announced. PS5s everywhere are about to get a whole lot. Wait, what? Hornier. Larian Studios has revealed the preload times and release schedule for the PS5 version of Baldur's Gate 3 ahead of its full PlayStation release on September 6th, early next month. Yeah, I know, Ferret. Per a post on X, I'm just going to call this Muskiex. Muxky. I'm gonna call it Muxky. I've can I just say something, man? Like, and not everybody will agree with this, but by the way, you still have to go to twitter.com to get to this website. Mux. Yeah, there you go. Um I get it. He bought the company and everything or whatever. But I mean, how full of yourself do you need to be to take a very, very, very popular, notable social media platform and make everybody in the world that uses it start calling it something different and go to a different site? Probably eventually it'll probably get redirected, but just to access it, you know what I mean? I mean, what kind of flipping? I mean, I know, I can tell you, it's a man child born with a silver spoon in his mouth. You know what I mean? I can tell you who does it. I'm sorry, dude. I don't care. Um, it's so stupid. And did you see? Yeah, X.com does redirect to Twitter. I know, dude. Yeah. Well, I was thinking that twitter.com will eventually redirect to X. But yeah, I know that it redirects to Twitter right now, which is weird. But you would figure that it would redirect the other way around, right? Like it would go from Twitter to redirect to X is what I would expect it to eventually do. Yeah. Um, XCOM, by the way, great game. Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Um, so also, did you see like what this fool did by like putting this giant like flashing light strobe display of an X up on the side of the building right next to all this like residential building too? Like, did you see this? God dang it, dude. Like people like Elon Muskrat just live in a completely different universe than normal people, don't they? It's just so crazy, dude. Anyways, sorry, getting a rant there. Um, per a post on X, formerly Twitter, from Larian, players who have paid for the $80 deluxe digital deluxe edition of Baldur's Gate 3 will be able to begin preloading the game on August 31st. So about 7 days ahead of time. Starting at 1600 UTC, and will be able to jump into the game at the same time on September 2nd, courtesy of early access. Meanwhile, those who have pre-ordered the $70 standard edition of Baldur's Gate 3 will be able to begin preloading starting at 1600 UTC on September 4th in preparation of the RPG's full PS5 release on September 6th, once again at 1600. PS5 players, yeah, this is just their tweet. Back in July, yep, Larian revealed that players would not be able to preload any of the 122 gigabyte PC version of Baldur's Gate 3. Am I tripping? Is Baldur's Gate 3 and Starfield the same size? Or did I get that mixed up? They're pretty close. They're pretty close. I did get it mixed up though. I was thinking the Starfield size was like 120 gigs. I got them flipped, but they're pretty close. 140 gigs for Starfield. My bad. I'm gonna have to correct that. So back in July, Larian revealed the players would not be able to preload any of the 122 gigs. Would not be able to preload the 122 gigabyte PC version of Baldur's Gate 3, a decision which upset some players with less than stellar internet and saw Steam struggle to cope with the download demand for the game. Thankfully, Larian has been able to enable preloading for the PS5 version of the game, so PlayStation gamers should have a smoother ride of it. The PC version of Baldur's Gate 3 has been out in the wild for a couple of weeks now. In that time, it has delighted hardcore and casual RPG fans alike, while securing its place in history as one of the horniest titles ever to grace gamers' collective screens. Yeah, there's already like, I mean, there's so much speed running going on in Baldur's Gate 3 already, you know. Um, that's basically all it talks about. So, preload, preload. Probably so. Well, that's what I usually tell anybody is like, whatever the game's telling you, make sure you have enough storage space, like a good, comfortable, like cushion over that. You know what I mean? You don't want to be like really pushing the limits. You know what I mean? Um, do the best you can. Oh, I'll bring something up in a second, dude. There's a really good deal on a 2 terabyte. I think it's a 970 Evo Samsung drive. By the way, it's like $80, dude. 2 terabytes, $80. I think that's what it was. I'll pull it up in a second. Um, but yeah. Anytime you're gonna be prepared. Yeah, dude. Yeah, I put it in the gamers deal section. I'll pull it up in a second. Show everybody. Yeah, 80 bucks, dude. I know. I'm thinking about grabbing one. I know. I figured you'd probably jump on it. So the and it's getting price matched like everywhere, dude. I can't remember where it was off of initially, but I found it on Slick Deals, and all the comments on the Slick Deals is showing that like everybody's price matching it. Like Amazon, Best Buy, all those places, dude, are price matching it, dude. Solid states are getting stupid cheap, bro. It's insane. So it's an it's an M.2. It's an M.2. So yeah, 970 Evo M.2, 2 terabyte. Yep, for like 80, I think. I'll pull it up. So yeah, TLDR, what this is telling us is that basically on August 31st, you'll be able to start pre-downloading this game for the PS5. And it's going to be about 122 gigabytes. Make sure you've got a cushion over that. I would say make sure you've got somewhere between 135 to 140 gigabytes of available space on your hard drive for this, just to be safe, okay? So if you got the early access edition, you'll be able to start playing September 2nd. If not, it'll be September 6th, all right? Yeah, check this out, dude. You probably already looked at it now, but just for everybody else, right here. Boom! 2 terabyte Samsung 970 Evo plus M.2 solid state drive for $80. And yeah, you can get it on Amazon, Samsung, B&H Photo, Newegg, and Best Buy. 80 bucks, dude. 80 bucks. What up, Alunico? What's going on, man? That's a heck of a deal right there, man. So I put it in our gamers deal section of the Discord. I'll link it here in chat for you as well if you want. But Slick Deals is an amazing site if you're not familiar with Slick Deals. I use Slick Deals quite often. And a lot of times if I find really good deals on there, I'll throw them in our gamers deal channel as well of our Discord server. And basically Slick Deals is a community-driven site where people hop on here. They find good deals across all kinds of stuff. Back to school, grocery, video games, TVs, computers, credit cards, home, clothing and accessories, tech, cameras, auto, health and beauty, babies, entertainment, travel, blah, 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 blah. It keeps going on and on and on. And the better deals that get found get put on the front page. They get a little fire symbol here. They also get thumbs ups and a lot of comments and stuff. And it's basically, you can see all these like thumbs ups over here and stuff like that. But these are like different deals. It's community. The community kind of runs this site because that's the way it works. Somebody finds a deal, they put it up. If it's not a good deal, it gets thumbs down and it kind of gets pushed away into oblivion. But if it's a good deal, people keep thumbsing it up, talking about, and there's places for them to put comments like down here below where they talk about their experience with it, or if they've been able to get any price matches on it, anything like that. Things of that nature, right? So it's a very good site. Highly recommend if you're looking for anything in particular. And that's a really good deal on a 970 Evo 2 terabyte M.2 drive right there. Really good deal. PlayStation Plus free games for September appear online early. It would seem nothing stays a secret for long these days, especially when it has anything to do with video games. Rumors are abound that the games coming to PlayStation Plus in September have already leaked. According to Gamatsu, Soul Calibur, Broken Destiny, and Tekken 6 might be coming to PlayStation Plus Classic in the not-too-distant future. We like to reiterate that this is a tentative maybe because, as of yet, no confirmations have been made. However, while nothing has been confirmed or denied, the evidence would suggest that these games are coming into land. The Taiwan Digital Game Rating Committee has recently rated both titles. Said ratings are for PS5 and 4, which strongly suggests that the updated ratings are so the PS conversions of the games can be added to the classics for all PlayStation Plus premium users. Seeing as PS Plus is losing some of its best games in September, the inclusion of retro classics like Tekken and Soul Calibur would definitely soften the blow. As of right now, we're living in hope, as much of you, dear reader. But the signs all suggest that good things are happening over at Sony. Even if it's not these two games, we suspect other equally beloved offerings will make their way to us before long. The next PlayStation Plus update will go live on 19 September, removing several games, including Chicory and Watch Dogs 2. All right. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will have zombies. Get ready for the zomboys and zomgirls. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will see the return of popular zombies mode. Confirmation comes via the unknown caller number that Activision has posted for players to text to get information about the upcoming Modern Warfare 3 relevant event. Should you text the number right here with the message zombies, you will receive the audio that you can listen to below as a response. Did you lose me? I don't think so. I don't think I got lost. Are we good? Twitch servers jack up there for a second or something. Oh, weird. Gotta love it, dude. Zombies took a year off when it wasn't part of Modern Warfare 2. Instead, the game focused more on the DMZ mode as well as various co-op missions alongside Warzone and the traditional multiplayer offerings. Did someone say zombies? Activision posted after the audio became public. More information coming soon as the new Modern Warfare Zombies, the largest zombie offering to date. A quick note, though, if you're planning on texting the number, know that it is a U.S.-based number. Be warned, if you plan on texting from outside of the area, if you do plan on still texting the number, simply text READY to get started with the game's marketing messaging. Opt out at any time by sending stop. All right? Oh, interesting. That is weird, dude. Huh. Well, thanks for letting me know, man. Yeah. Here, I'll just say this. Hopefully, chat isn't frozen for people, and that'll get them back in. So, zombies coming to Modern Warfare 3. Also, I guess if you didn't know, here's some other things for you to understand about Modern Warfare 3 right now. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 will be releasing on November 10th currently. That's the date that is slated for its release. We're not that far away. Right? Like 3 months. Crazy, dude. Modern Warfare 3 in 3 months. And what was it? Because of the current situation of the contract that they are still under with PlayStation and the fact that the Activision Blizzard acquisition by Microsoft still has not fully happened. The beta will kick off the first beta weekend, which we don't have definitive dates yet, I don't think. The first beta weekend is, in fact, going to be PlayStation only, just like Modern Warfare 2 was. And then the next beta weekend will be open, all platforms, and then it'll be the release shortly after, right? So that's what you need to know right now about Modern Warfare 3. Plus, zombies are coming. All right, dude. Yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Okay. Just like we were talking about Madden just a second ago with EA. I should have talked about these back to back, but Madden's getting kind of ripped right now for being a piece of garbage and buggy, and I said this previously. EA is not really all that focused on improving these games year to year. Basically, they take the previous year off of the game, put the next year on it, change out some players that may not be in the league anymore, put new players in. And then all they really focus on is their ultimate team stuff to try to suck more money out of people. That's it. There's not a whole lot of focus about just making the game as good as they possibly can. It's been like this for a long time. It's why I quit playing EA Sports games in the mid 20 teens. I could just see it trending that way already. And unfortunately, a lot of people don't have anywhere else to go to play these types of games because EA has a stranglehold on so many of these sports franchises. Nobody else can really make them, or nobody else does. So nobody has anywhere else to go to play them, unfortunately. Um, so NHL 24 revamped gameplay. I'll believe it when I see it. The all-new exhaust engine, physics-based contact, and total control system refresh the NHL gameplay experience. Uh, yeah, they are. Yeah, you're right. During the premiere reveal of NHL 24, EA Sports NHL announced the all-new exhaust engine, designed to emulate the authenticity of momentum-swinging, pressure-filled, real-life hockey moments. The exhaust engine entails the sustained pressure system and the goalie fatigue system. The sustained pressure system gives teams an endless forecheck on offense when activated. The defending team is tasked with surviving the building pressure. The attacking team must build up the sustained pressure meter to activate full pressure through puck possession, hits, and shots on goal. When full pressure is triggered, the attacking team gets the adrenaline effect, increasing passing speed and accuracy for up to 30 seconds. Conversely, the defending team is marked with a pinned effect, negatively impacting their skating ability. In such situations, the defending team is forced to find different ways of defending the net. Negating full pressure is possible by clearing the puck for 5 continuous seconds. The goalie fatigue system offers new goal scoring meta and highlight reel save animations. Goalie fatigue increases or recovers depending on various factors during gameplay. Tiring actions fatigue the goalie, including shots on goal, time in zone, and passes across the crease. Conversely, there are things a player could do to recover their goalie's stamina, including clearing puck, causing a faceoff, calling a timeout, or any other stoppages of play except for icing. NHL 24 also includes an all-new physics-based contact system. We're delivering big body checks and creating mini-man advantage chances are possible. It is designed to expand defensive utilities and make checking more engaging and tactful. Players can even break the glass and send their opponents to the bench. That said, any attempts at impactful body checks are also risky, as missing them results in chances for the opposition. It's always been that way. You go for a check and you miss, put you in a bad spot. NHL 24 also has a revamped control setup. It includes a vision passing system, total control skill moves, and one-touch passing. Sounds like a lot of the stuff they've already had in the game. Vision passing allows players to target passes to specific players. One-touch passing will add another layer that permits players to play ahead of the competition. Total control promotes accessibility by allowing players to pull off skill-based moves with a touch of a button. Yeah, it sounds like they're just talking about a lot of the stuff they already had in the game, dude. NHL 24 is going to be available on October 6th on PS5, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and Xbox One if you're interested. I mean, dude, this was a game that I used to pre-order for years in a row. I mean, like 4 or 5 years in a row until I started realizing that they really just didn't ever put any effort into the game anymore besides the Ultimate Team stuff. And I was like, yeah, I'm done here. They really actually started ruining the game. And, good old EA. I mean, what else do you expect, but Final Fantasy 16 producer reckons one gaming platform would be better for everyone. No, it wouldn't. We'll talk about this. The theoretical, and I think what they're going to talk about here is, I touched on this a little bit earlier, one gaming platform. I think what Yoshida is going to talk about here is one console gaming platform. And could you imagine the scumminess we already have to deal with on the front of having 3 console competitors? Could you imagine the kinds of crap that they would be pulling on the consumer if there was only one and no competition? It would be outlandish. Absolutely insane. So this is obviously a very far-fetched theoretical scenario that we're talking about here, because to be fair, like, getting all of consolidating all of the console players into one. Let's just take PC gaming out of this, okay? Um, because I don't think he's going to be necessarily talking about PC gaming in general. I think that really what he's going to be talking about is console gaming, and we'll see once we get in here. But even trying to consider what it would take to consolidate the console gaming industry down into one consolidated developer, right, is just really not feasible. It's just not something that could happen. I mean, never say never, but we're talking about 3 companies that are just massive, and none of them are going to relinquish power, right? So it's not like I never see. I mean, about the only way I could see maybe at some point in the future, because 2 of them are Japanese. Japanese-based companies, and the likelihood is more applicable for Japanese-based companies to merge, right? So Nintendo and Sony, or Nintendo and PlayStation. It's still not really feasible. It's just still not really. I just still don't see it happening. And then that still leaves Xbox in the picture there, and there. I mean, nobody's going to relinquish power. It would take something just completely insane to happen to make this a reality. And again, this is something that I think Yoshida is going to be just talking about why it would be good, but Yoshida's not going to be talking about why it would be bad as well. And I will talk about that. So let's dive in here. So FF16 producer reckons one gaming platform would be better for everyone. In a recent appearance on a Taiwanese gaming channel as translated by IGN, outspoken Final Fantasy XVI producer Naoki Yoshida lamented fact that there are multiple platforms, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, etc. Given Yoshida's penchant for making headline-worthy comments, we think the Square Enix veteran is being a bit cheeky here, but it's still an interesting point. Yoshida, I don't like Yoshida. And I think Yoshida is ridiculous. Really, where a lot of this stems from for me was like during the final stages of production for Final Fantasy 16, Yoshida was quoted as saying something close to the lines of being asked as to whether the game was going to release on PC as well as PS, and basically responded with something along the lines of closely to, don't worry about other consoles, just go buy a PS5. Don't worry about other platforms, just go buy a PS5. And for me, that's like what a terrible way to approach that. What that did for me was make Yoshida, obviously is an individual that lives in a different kind of plane than the rest of us do. Most gamers do. And if it's, my response was like, well, if that's the case, and this was, if it's that easy, then just anybody that wants to play your game and needs a PS5, just buy it for them, dude. If it's that nominal for you, if it's just that easy, go buy everybody a PS5, dude. You know what I mean? That was such a bad quote. And maybe, look, I'm not blind to the fact that sometimes things can be taken out of context, especially if they're being translated from one language to another. The media can do this inherently anyways, but I think Yoshida is definitely this kind of person. We see Yoshida has been, I mean, obviously, like the start of this this article here, he's noted for being kind of outlandish and having a wild take on things, and I'm not a big fan of it. So moving forward here, what Yoshida has stated is game platforms. I probably shouldn't say this, but I wish there was only one. Yoshida says with a slight grin. It would be better for both the developers and the players. It would not be better for players. No, it wouldn't. On most fronts, it wouldn't. Now, obviously, from a game development point of view, teams often have to get their project up and running across various hardware, whether it's the PS5, PS4, Series X, S, Switch, PC, or even mobile. More platforms means more testing, and more testing means more work. Being committed to just a single platform means that development teams can, in theory at least, optimize a game to the best of their ability. PlayStation studios are obviously a great example of this, typically taking full advantage of Sony systems. That brings us back to Final Fantasy XVI, which was developed solely for the PS5. Admittedly, its technical performance isn't perfect, but Square has gone on record several times saying that the action RPG only exists in the form that it does because of the PS5. You'd expect the inevitable PC port to require a bit of work then. Anyway, we can understand Yoshida's point, although there's always something to be said for healthy competition. I'm going to talk about this a lot right now. Would one big unified gaming platform really push the industry forward in the same ways? The truth is that PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo wouldn't be where they are now without having to compete with one another. Absolutely. We get that Yoshida is deliberately being a bit of an idealist here. So, yeah. He's always noted as making these terrible quotes, and this is not a good one. Look, a lot of people are... A lot of gamers have been causing a stink, if you will, about the fact that they're, Starfield's only releasing on PS5 and Xbox, and that sucks because I'm a PlayStation player, and then vice versa. Final Fantasy 16's only releasing on PS5. Man, what is this crap? Petitions have even come out where people have been trying to sign petitions to, like that was going to do anything. Petitions to do what? Like they thought a petition was going to get the game to be released on another platform or whatever. Come on, man, give me a break. Developers have been doing this first party proprietary release kind of stuff for ever throughout the history of gaming, right? And there might be a few benefits to a consolidated gaming platform. That would be one of them. You wouldn't have to worry about that anymore. You wouldn't have to worry about a game coming out and you having whether or not it's going to be on the platform you play on or whatever, right? Okay. And yeah, it's going to be better for developers because developers have quite a task on their hands most often, especially if it's a developer that's not under one of the major console developers' umbrellas, or under contract with them or whatever. These developers that release games on multiple platforms, game development's not easy in the first place. And then you've got to, if you're going to develop and release on all platforms, you've got Switch, which is old. The hardware's dated. So usually you've got to reduce the entire game to work on that hardware. Then you've got the more modern platforms, right? Yeah, you're good, Ferret. You're good. You got more modern platforms like PS5 and Xbox Series X, right? Which still different hardware. So they've got to be optimized and developed differently for both of those consoles. At least it's static hardware for both those fronts too, though. But if you're going to develop for Xbox Series X, you got to develop for S as well, right? According to Microsoft. And Series S is totally different hardware than Series X. And so you've got to develop differently for that also, right? Now, then we get into the realm of if you want to develop for PC. And unfortunately, quite often what happens is developers go, well, we made it work on all these other platforms. We'll just port it over to PC, and they don't really take the time to. Now, I'm not saying all. There are a lot of good developers out there that really do take their time. They're really good at PC development. But PC is a different kind of issue, right? Because it takes more time. It takes more effort. It's not nearly close to being as static hardware-wise as any of the consoles are. Consoles have minor variations in their hardware, whereas PCs are an enigma, you know what I mean, as far as the different kinds of hardware that can be put together, the variations, the configurations of hardware that can be put together. It's crazy, right? The amount of different configurations that can be. So trying to account for every and all configurations of PC hardware developed for that is a very, very difficult task. I'm not blind to that. So it obviously would make things better on the front for developers, but all the way around, console is already really scummy, right? We already get a lot of scummy stuff come out of the console gaming sphere, whether it be them trying to make you pay to play online, even though you've already bought into their platform. PC doesn't do that, by the way, for the most part. You've got a couple of games that might do it, you know what I mean? Like live service games might make you pay to play online, like Final Fantasy 14 or some Rockstar games. But naturally, you don't have to have an online subscription to play games online on PC. Or backwards compatibility. You don't have to worry about backwards compatibility with PC. You own the game, you get a new PC, you install the game again off the same platform you already own it on. It's not a big deal. Whereas console's disgusting. They want you rebuying the games over and over and over again. You know, they don't want to give you backwards compatibility. They've never been very good about it. Xbox is better than the other ones nowadays. There's a lot of ways in which console's already really gross. Yeah. Or storage space, right? Consoles come out, they give you really, really low storage space in the first place. And speaking of Xbox, just giving them props, I'll now tear them apart. You want to get an extension for your storage space, they're going to charge you a markup of about 300% of what a solid state drive would normally cost to throw in a PC. But they made it proprietary to be manufactured by, I think, Seagate and Western Digital. And a 1 terabyte, I think, 1 terabyte drive extension for the Xbox Series X or S will cost you about $200. When a terabyte solid state drive for a PC will cost you, I mean, I just pulled up a 2 terabyte 970 Evo, one of the best solid state drives in the world. I mean, it's on sale, but $80, 2 terabytes. Come on, man. You know, I mean, the console market's gross. It's really gross. They get over on consumers all the time. So what happens if you consolidate down? What happens if you consolidate down and you take, you know, I mean, competition, you cannot deny, you need competition. You need competition because it elevates the standards by which these different developers try to compete with one another. Right? If you're trying to compete, you want to show consumers that you're producing something better than your competitor, right? If there are no more competitors, there's no reason to produce quality stuff anymore. Nobody has anywhere else to go to play, so you're the only one. So why do they give a crap? We see it happen all the time. I just talked about EA Sports or EA Sports was what we were talking about, but EA Sports games, there's so many games that they have a stranglehold on where nobody else can go play these games anywhere else. NHL, NFL, you know, and they don't really give a crap about making those games any better because there's no competition out there, right? All they care about is that people pay a AAA price tag for those games, and then that people continue to pay more for those games while they play them by playing the Ultimate Team stuff. So just raking in as much money as possible off people. It's not about improving the games year on end or anything like that. It's just about, you know, no competition. They know people don't have anywhere to go and getting as much money as they can out of people. That's all they really care about. That's the way this would be as well. So Yoshida can sit here and talk about how it would be better, but Yoshida doesn't want to get into the conversation about why it would be better as a whole. So people can talk about pros if they want, but you can't talk about pros without talking about the cons. And look, I do not think that there in any way, form, or fashion would be more pros, not even close to even as many pros in this situation as there would be cons. Because the console world is already getting over on consumers. And if it turned into one consolidated, and again, I mean, we're talking about a theoretical situation that I don't ever see happening, but it would be even worse. They would take even more advantage of consumers at that point than they do nowadays as these three singular companies. It'd be disgusting. The recent criticism of, oh, dude, here we go. Okay, so this is the last thing we're going to talk about today. Shout out to Ferret for bringing this to my attention. We'll do a bit of a react video here. I hadn't really heard about this. It came up in our news segment today, but I was off yesterday, and I hadn't heard about this. So Ferret brought it to my attention yesterday. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. And we came across a couple of articles this morning in doing our news segment, one of which I brought up, and this is the one Ferret sent me. So we're going to take a look at this and see exactly what's going on here. Apparently, Gamer Nexus is pretty heavily criticizing and calling out Linus Tech Tips for like their accuracy, ethics, and responsibility of the information that they are pushing out. And so we're going to take a dive in here. I know that this isn't straight up gaming per se, but it is pertinent because Linus Tech Tips is very popular. A lot of people look to Linus for information regarding technology and quite often gaming stuff. And this does have to do with a graphics processing cooling unit. Apparently Linus testing it incorrectly and then throwing out bad reviews on it. And I mean, I think that what we need to take a look at here is for a site that has traditionally been looked at as a place for people to go to get tech tips, right? Which quite often flows down the line of gaming stuff as well. If they're pushing out bad information, then I want to make sure that people understand that and are informed that maybe everything coming out of this site and from this individual is not the best information you might be able to get out there. Yeah. So let's take a dive in here and see what's going on. Recent criticism of Linus Tech Tips explained. Hardware channel Linus Tech Tips defended itself following a competitor's claim about its accuracy, ethics, and responsibility. So we'll hit this update in a moment. So the original story, Linus Tech Tips founder Linus Sebastian has admitted to sloppiness in the hardware review channel's handling of controversy that erupted over its recent review of a high-end water cooling system. Says that what really bothers him about the situation is how quickly the pitchforks were raised. Trouble began with a June 24th video in which Sebastian and an assistant put together a water-cooled PC using Billet Labs Monoblock, a system designed to cool both the CPU and GPU simultaneously. The monoblock is not actually in production at this point. It's available for pre-order at the Billet Labs website for $841 US. The device tested by LTT, Linus Tech Tips, was apparently a unique prototype. The build did not go smoothly, the installation of the cooling block was difficult, and the GPU they used wasn't a proper match for the cooler. The unit Billet Labs sent was meant for a GeForce GTX 3090 GPU, but Linus Tech Tips tested it on a 4090. According to Linus Tech Tips writer Adam Sondergaard, who assisted on the test, manufacturer said the device would work with a 4090 card, but it didn't know how well. Not well at all, as it turned out. Best case scenario for this thing is the temps are slightly better than other coolers, Sebastian said in the review's conclusion, but the experience of building with it is a nightmare, and the advantages over literally any other solution are negligible. That review led to an August 14 call out of Linus Tech Tips by channel Gamers Nexus, a direct competitor which questioned LTT's accuracy, ethics, and responsibility, excuse me, and accused it of rushing content out the door in order to achieve quantity over quality. Gamers Nexus editor-in-chief Steve Burke also said in the video that LTT sold the one-of-a-kind monoblock prototype after it was finished with the device, rather than returning it to the manufacturer as it had promised to. Gamers Nexus video prompted a lengthy written rebuttal from Sebastian, who actually stepped down as Linus Tech Tips CEO in June, but said he needs to own this particular incident because he was still in charge when it happened. Why did he step down? To my team, I stress the importance of diligence in our work because there are so many eyes on us. Sebastian wrote, "We're going through some growing pains. We've been very public about them in the interest of transparency. And it's clear we have some work to do on internal processes and communication. We have already been doing a lot of work internally to clean up our processes. These things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day, but that's no excuse for sloppiness." Although he cops with some general sloppiness, Sebastian also defended LTT's commitment to and record of getting it right, including in the case of the monoblock cooler. Problem wasn't in the accuracy of the review, he wrote, but in the handling of the reaction to it. I disagree. It wasn't just in the accuracy of the review, it was in the overall testing of the product, including his refusal to retest the cooler using the video card it was actually designed for. That's exactly what I'm talking about, okay? Even when some other members of the LT team advocated for doing so, I just read the room wrong, Sebastian wrote. I got the community's priorities mixed up on this one, and that we didn't show the billet in the best light. Our intention wasn't to hurt anyone. We wanted no one to buy it because it's an egregious waste of money no matter what temps it runs at. We wanted billet to make something marketable so they can, eat. Sebastian also disrupted Gamers Nexus's language, replying that LTT didn't sell the monoblock, but rather auctioned it for charity due to a miscommunication. It's something of a split hair, although I suppose the point is that the money from the same is going to a charitable cause rather than Linus Tech Tips. Sebastian also said that LTT has agreed to compensate Billet Labs for the cost of their prototype. That didn't make much of an impression on Burke, who argued in a follow-up video posted today that Sebastian's response was inaccurate. For its part, Billet Labs paid tribute to the integrity of Burke in a message posted to Reddit while suggesting that it holds LTT in somewhat lesser regard. Quote, on August 10th, we were told by LTT via email that the block had been sold at auction. Billet Labs explained there was no apology. We replied on 10th August within 30 minutes, telling LTT this wasn't okay and that this was a prototype. We asked if they planned to reimburse us at all. We received no reply, no offer of payment until 2 hours after the Gamers Nexus video went live on 14 August. At which point, Linus himself emailed us directly. The exact monetary value of the prototype was offered as reimbursement. We have not received, nor have we asked for any other form of compensation. Billet Labs also said that it will not mourn our missing block and is now working on developing another one. Yes, it sucks. The prototype has gone. It's slowed us, but it has absolutely not stopped us. We have pre-orders for it and plan to push ahead with our first production run as soon as we can. Videos posted by Burke and Gamers Nexus criticize LTT for more than the Billet Labs review, also accusing the channel of significant and frequent data errors. In his response, Sebastian argued that LTT has been transparent about correcting errors that appear in its videos. With 16.5 million YouTube subscribers, Linus Tech Tips is the most popular PC hardware-focused YouTube channel. Current top post on the subreddit, LTT subreddit, an unofficial forum for discussion of the channel, criticizes Sebastian's response, asking why didn't Linus just own his mistakes, apologize, and work to improve LTC's processes. There and in a thread about the Gamers Nexus response video, public opinion strongly sides with Billet Labs and Gamers Nexus. The response in the official LTT forums is more mixed. Yeah. So I'll link this one for you guys to take a look at too if you want to keep fleshing this out. Here's my take. If LTT knew, first and foremost, that this prototype block was built for 3090 GPUs, that's what it should have been tested on in the first place. Just because they said it should work on a 4090 but hasn't been tested doesn't mean that's where you start. You start with what it was designed for. And if you want to do some additional testing, which is what they probably should have done, you know what I mean? To flesh out exactly how it works on maybe a 4090, because the manufacturer of the product, the prototype, says that it could work on a 4092, but didn't know how well. You want to flesh that out for your potential content, right? You don't start with testing it on the product that they're not sure how well it'll work on, and not test the originally designed product at all. This is bad form, in my opinion, for a outlet that is designed and built around producing this kind of content. This is very bad form. And it doesn't seem like, you know, they've handled it the best way they possibly could. Everybody makes mistakes, but I mean, this is not a great look. I'll be honest. To be fair, anything that is labeled as a prototype, and you're a very, very notable big name as far as people are always wanting you to test their products, showcase their products, things like that. You know, you've got to be aware that if something says it's a prototype, it's probably not meant to be out there for other manufacturers to get their hands on. And so auctioning it off instead of ensuring that the manufacturer didn't want it back, which I'm sure they probably, you know, upon negotiations of yo, we have something we'd like you guys to test. If you're interested, let us know. Yeah, send it to us. Da-da-da. Okay, but we need this back. I'm sure they put that in the details, you know, and whoever's in charge of the, you know, there are multiple people in charge of Linus Tech Tips and all that stuff, right? It's not just Linus himself. You know, multiple people dropped the ball there through a long process of having that block and testing it, receiving it, coordinating with the, you know, Billet Labs, and it went ahead and just auctioned it off. So any other manufacturer can get their hands on it and try to design their own product based off of that same thing. It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate, and it's not a good look. And again, yeah, it seems like they're kind of trying to take responsibility for this. But I'll be honest, LTT seems like they're in a bit of a disarray right now, and it's not a good look. So maybe be careful. That would be my advice. Maybe be careful if you're looking for advice, tips on tech stuff, anything like that. Be wary. I'm not saying that, you know, if you enjoy the LTT content and stuff like that, but maybe don't take everything they're pushing at you. And look, I say this as a whole all the time. Not all information given to you by any singular outlet or individual, it can be relied on to be fact. You should always fact check your information. And so I know that people have relied on LTT for a long time for tech info and stuff like that, but at this point right now, it seems like they've got some issues going on, and even if you're a fan of theirs or whatever, it might be beneficial to just take whatever they're telling you with a bit of a grain of salt and try and research some other venues that have tested the same products or anything like that before you decide to dive into them, to ensure that what you're getting out of Linus Tech Tips is in fact reliable information. It's definitely not going to hurt anything for you. They seem like they're going through some issues right now, so it's not a good look. I mean, hopefully they get things sorted. But you know, if a organization such as this is conducting business in this fashion, they deserve to be called out for it as well. You know, so it wasn't a good play for sure. So I don't know. I'll give you this link to the article I didn't read. It's going to be a lot more, probably a lot more of the Gamer Nexus side of things. You know what I mean? I already linked it, but there it is again. Enjoy. And that's the news, man. Shout out to Ferret. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. Appreciate it, broski. Go. That's the Jamalam, dude. We're gonna get ready to go play some video games. We're gonna play Fallout New Vegas, man. Fallout New Vegas. We got a few more days of this probably before we start running into anything else. WrestleQuest hits on the 22nd. It's supposed to now. Hopefully they've gotten everything sorted out. It was supposed to release on the 7th or 8th, and they had some issues last minute, so they had to delay. We'll probably start playing it on the 22nd. Same day we'll be watching Opening Night Live. But for now, we're just going to be moving on and playing some more Fallout New Vegas, baby. I put a bunch of clips into the clip channel of the Discord server last night. Some of the funnier clips and stuff that we've gotten a hold of since we've been playing the game so far. So go take a look, and hopefully you'll be able to enjoy some of that content. But thank you, everybody, for the amazing news segment this morning. As always, I appreciate it. We're going to go play some games. But if anybody's checking out this content right now, or even as a VOD later on, then consider checking out some of the other stuff that we have here on the Twitch channel, VODs here on the Twitch channel, and on the our YouTube channel. All of the content that we do live is put on both those places as highlights and VODs. Whether it be the video gaming news segments or the playthroughs that we do, entire playthroughs we do get uploaded, funny, crazy, wild clips and highlights, all that stuff. All of that gets uploaded. So if you're enjoying any of it, come hang out with us, man. We go live at 6 a.m. CST, 6 days a week, every day but Wednesday. We go live at 6 a.m. CST. That's 4 a.m. Pacific and 7 a.m. Eastern time. We always start off with video gaming news, and then we move on to whatever gameplay we have planned for the rest of the day. All right, so other than that, happy Thursday. Stay healthy, stay safe, be kind to one another, and we will catch everybody tomorrow for August 18th edition of Video Gaming News and more Fallout New Vegas. All right.